take my throne. They couldn't build their own. They can't believe my growth.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. And in this series we're going to be going over Neptune in the houses, okay? Neptune in the houses. And in this episode we're going to be talking about the fourth house, so having Neptune in your fourth house. And I just want to remind you guys to definitely, if you enjoyed the music in the beginning of this video, that little snippet, that is my new single, Can't Take the Throne. Definitely check it out by typing my name on YouTube. It'll definitely pop up. You can also check it out on Spotify and Apple Music, so definitely check that out. Also follow me on TikTok at Sam_Dolphin. And if you want to book a reading with me, definitely contact me through my email, which is samsastroreadings@gmail.com, samastroreadings@gmail.com, and we could definitely go forward with that. And the first thing I can say about Neptune in the fourth house is that this can manifest a very compassionate, emotional, caring family, okay? Neptune is the planet of just feeling everyone's energy, seeing everyone as one, being compassionate. One of the most compassionate energies because there's no discrimination, okay? And it's very intuitive and sensitive. So when you have this in the fourth house ruled by Cancer, dealing with your family. Your family could be a very compassionate family, very caring, very emotional. They could be the family that does all the charities, you know, give money to the homeless, caretaking for lots of people, you know, and teaching you that this is your values, this is what you should care about, you know. So a very emotional, compassionate family, okay? This can manifest very emotional, very caring, you know, and this makes, you know, the family very sensitive to everyone's feelings and just so much more intimate and caring for one another, okay? A very emotional family, and that's great for family because the fourth house is a water house. It's ruled by Cancer. So Neptune is a watery planet. So you're talking about strong emotions, strong emotional bond within the family. And not only within the family, because like I said, this is Neptune. Neptune's all about caring for everyone. So this is a family that has strong compassion for themselves as a family unit, but also for other people. So lots of emotional compassion in this placement, and it can manifest a Neptune fourth house person to be very emotionally and caring for other people because this is a value within your family and this is what you were nurtured with. But with all that emotional care and intuition comes also some issues as well too in Neptune the fourth house. Okay, Neptune cares a lot, but so much that they don't even have boundaries, and this could be a issue. Okay, no boundaries, you care for everyone, no discrimination. Okay, so Neptune in the fourth house, this could be a placement that manifests a family with no structure, with no boundaries. And this can manifest in many different ways, okay? This could be a family that allows anyone to come in and do whatever, which could be very dangerous, okay? We've seen many situations, family situations where you allow someone to come in and take care of your children and they do something, you know, inappropriate or something like that. Like, there's no protection, there's no boundaries. Everyone's allowed to come in, okay? There can also be no structure within the family, okay? So the parents are not really here. The parents are not really present, okay? One time the family's here and everyone's here. The next time other people are in different places. There's no structure, okay? As long, with the no boundaries, there's also no structure. Neptune has no structure. Neptune is everything comes in, goes out, whatever, you know? So the lack of structure, the lack of security, the lack of boundaries, manifests a lack of security, okay? And this can manifest in so many ways, but people with Neptune in the fourth house, they can feel like they didn't have a family. They had a family, but the family had no boundaries, no structure. Dangerous people were allowed to come in. Your family wasn't reliable. They weren't always here. So you didn't feel like you had anything to rely on, okay? That type of stuff can be very traumatic as well, too. Okay, because, you know, even though fourth house is a watery house and Neptune's a watery planet, fourth house is ruled by Cancer, so it deals with protection. It deals with some type of form of structure, like only us family. We only take care of us, you know, we're not gonna like open ourselves to everyone. which, you know, Neptune is like that. Neptune is like the whole universe. It's like the emotional universe. So there is no boundaries, and you need boundaries with your family, because that's how you protect your family. That's how you keep everyone close knit. So the lack of that can be traumatic, emotionally traumatic, or just an issue. Okay, and then on top of the lack of boundaries, there's a lack of structure. You know, if you have no boundaries within your family, the structure is definitely going to fall apart. Okay, so things can be, you know, damaged when you allow anyone into the family. Things can be damaged when you allow your kids to do, you know, whatever they want, and you're not protecting them. Okay, you're being too loose. Okay, those lack of structures within the family definitely create, you know, a breakdown and issues, and it can feel like you don't have a family. This is like the child who says, yeah, my family, they were like, you know, nice, like they let me do whatever I want, but I wish they were more disciplined. I wish they were more structured. I wish they took care of me a bit more, like in a structured way where I can rely on them and depend on them and not feel like I have no protection and I'm up for grabs for anyone. Okay, very delusional, very spacey. These people can like not really take care of their children properly, like because the mother or the father is busy, you know, taking care of the whole world and everyone else, you know. Great, but also like you're forgetting your children. So there's an important need to structure and protect your people when you talk about the fourth house. This is ruled by Cancer, so it's more bougie, it's more protective, it's more isolated, whereas Neptune makes you open to any and everything. So again, the lack of boundaries can be dangerous. It can let dangerous people, you know, into your family, but it also can lead to a lack of structure, a lack of consistency, a lack of people to rely on. You know, your family can be busy with other things, not be here all the time. It's just not a family you can rely on, and that can cause a lot of trauma. This is also why people with Neptune in the fourth house are very emotional, because they dealt with their families not being there, not protecting them, not feeling like they're here, not feeling like you have a family, like it's just anywhere. Maybe, you know, if your parents couldn't take care of you, they would just send you to another person's house, you know, just out of nowhere. You know, there's no structure, no sense of reliability when it comes to your family. Your family's very delusional. They're just like doing whatever, trusting whoever, you know, trusting anyone to take care of you and babysit you, and then something dangerous happens and, you know, your mother, your father are just so nonchalant and so like, you know, just loopy, whatever. So these lack of boundaries, this lack of structure definitely can be very emotionally traumatic. It can lead to unsafe things. You know, a lot of children, you know, a lot of their trauma is because of their parents not properly watching over them and taking care of them. All right, so the boundaries here are not here with Neptune in the fourth house. So it could definitely cause a lot of emotional trauma, and you could definitely feel like you don't really have a strong, supportive family. There's just no structure and boundaries and protection. There can also be lots of drugs and psychedelics within the family. Maybe your mother or father did drugs. Maybe a lot of people are drinking or doing whatever. But Neptune is the planet of escapism. So yeah, a lot of your family members can be escaping through, you know, drugs, through psychedelics, through substances. Okay, and that can cause issues too, because like I said, no boundaries, no structure, no protection. When your parents are in this alternative state of mind all the time, they're not paying proper attention. They could be dangerous, you know, they could be reacting through strict emotions. You know, maybe your drunk dad gets very angry, okay? But at the end of the day, with all these drugs in the family, it can cause a lot of lackluster, a lot of messiness, a lot of not paying attention to, even emotional abuse. Maybe the drugs heighten their emotions, you know, in a negative way. But whatever it is, the drugs could definitely be a big part of the family. And psychedelics could be a potential manifestation here as well too. So definitely something to be mindful of. Neptune fourth house, you know, with drugs in the family and drug drug use in the family, and this again can influence you, so you become a big drug user as well too, because of, you know, what you saw your family doing, your parents doing, what was going on in your family. This is very influential, so you know, you got to be careful of that, because it can manifest drug habits and issues. You know, fourth house, you know, this is very much a family house, so a lot of energy is passed on biologically. So, you know, if your parents are doing lots of drugs or psychedelics, you know, it could be something that influences you to do it as well too. So definitely be careful with that. And it can create a strong addiction, because like I said, this is the fourth house. The fourth house is about what you're comfortable with, what makes you feel at home. So if it's drugs and this is what you're seeing and this is what you're surrounded by, it could be something that easily becomes an addiction, because it's what you're comfortable with. You're comfortable with psychedelics and drug use, you know, and it could become a major addiction. So major addictions to drugs, definitely be careful because of the family influence. And family influence is a very strong influence, because it's what makes you feel at home. It's what normalizes you. So the addiction here is very powerful, so be careful with drug addiction with this placement. Also, with Neptune in the fourth house, this can manifest a family that passes down a lot of creative gifts. So you can come from a very artistic family of musicians, of artists, of you know, creative artists. And those gifts, those artistic gifts, can get passed down to you, you know. So there's a lot of inheritance with creativity here. Neptune is in my opinion, the most creative planet, you know. So having it in the fourth house of your family, a lot of that energy is being passed to you. You can come from a very creative family. That influence can influence you, and you can inherit creative gifts naturally. Just be born with these artistic gifts with Neptune in the fourth house. So definitely a plus with the creative gifts. It's definitely an inheritance, and also spiritual gifts can be inherited to you too. So things such as like psychic gifts, or like strong intuitive clairvoyance, like, you know, those like spiritual metaphysical gifts, those things can be passed down to you as well as you know, creative artistic gifts. So definitely a good placement for that with Neptune in the fourth house. Yes, there definitely could be issues, but a lot of gifts. You know, Neptune is a very powerful magical planet. The psychic gifts and the creative gifts, these could be passed down to you. You can inherit them based on the influence of your family, or based on the genetics of your family. So definitely a beautiful thing to understand. Also, with Neptune in the fourth house, there could be a lot of sadness and depression when it comes to family, okay? Neptune deals with our deep subconscious emotions that are deep and we're sometimes not even aware of. Okay, and the fourth house deals with our emotions within our family and how they nurture them and develop them. So, you know, with the issues with Neptune of not feeling like you have a sense of family because of the lack of boundaries and stuff like that, the drugs that your family can take, the escapism, okay, the lackluster in the family because of Neptune, this can cause a lot of emotional depression. Okay, so depression and sad feelings because you don't feel supported, you feel neglected, you're put into dangerous positions because of the neglect, and you know, the family kind of not being that family that you can rely on causes a lot of emotional trauma on a person. You know, when you feel like you don't have a family that you can rely on, and this can lead to depression. So with Neptune in the fourth house, you have to be careful, because the irresponsibility with your family can cause emotional trauma and depression. Okay, you could have very depressing feelings because you don't feel safe or protected at home. You don't feel a sense of home. Okay, you know, your home is just not there. There's a lot of neglect. Okay, lots of not caring for emotions. Okay, so the higher vibration of Neptune in the fourth house would be a very compassionate, emotional, caring, you know, family. But, you know, Neptune, it's black and white. You know, it could be your worst nightmare. It could be, you know, families that doesn't care, that's completely dissociated, completely unorganized, all over the place. This can cause a lot of trauma. okay, with this like messiness within the family, this sense of like, I don't have a family, I don't have people I can rely on, they're on drugs, they're abandoning me, they're not here. That causes a lot of emotional trauma and depression. So you have to work on your feelings. Be aware of your emotional feelings. Do your shadow work. Heal your trauma from your families. You have Neptune in the 4th house. You got to do that shadow work, okay? Because, you know, it easily gets messy with the delusions of Neptune and the way your family can be so irresponsible. You know, do the shadow work, because these irresponsibilities, those issues with Neptune in the 4th house can cause so much depression within you, you know, and if you don't reveal those emotions and let them come out and cry and feel the pain and heal yourself and nurture yourself, you're going to have issues, okay? You're going to have a lot of emotional issues. So Neptune in the 4th house, it's very important to do shadow work. It's very important to go over those emotions, those dark negative emotions that you could have possibly manifest having Neptune here, okay? Because your parents were abandoning you, your family wasn't here. Get into those emotions, because keeping them deep down, which is easy to do with Neptune, can cause a lot of issues, you know, a lot of psychological issues, okay, with all this sadness within your family, and you start treating other people badly, and, you know, you can get into real crazy drug issues, being reliant on drugs because you want to escape your negative emotions because your home was so negative. Get into these emotions. Bring consciousness to these dark emotions, and it's painful. It's not easy. Shadow work is not easy, but it's so important to do with Neptune in the 4th house, okay? Because depression can be a strong manifestation here if you had a negative experience with this placement, okay? And you're gonna have to get into your dirty laundry and express these negative emotions that you have. Express your pain, express your sad feelings, and keep doing that so that you can release the pain. Because just because you hide your pain doesn't mean they don't come out. They come out in more tricky ways. They come out in the way you treat other people. They come out in your drug addiction, your addictions, okay? They come out in your relationships and the toxic relationships you can have because of, you know, your experience with your family. So do the shadow work, because depression can be very high here, and it can ruin your relationships and how you function in reality, because the 4th house is very psychological. This is why we always look into our family dynamics when we're trying to understand our emotional issues and our depression and all that type of stuff. So definitely do shadow work with Neptune in the 4th house. Also, you can be blindsided by your family, okay? Your family can be sneaky, taking things from you, doing things behind your back. Okay, Neptune deals with sneakiness, okay? Things that aren't, you know, conscious, okay? So your family could be very sneaky, doing things behind the scenes. It can be, you know, you could be blindsided by your family, you know? Maybe you didn't think they would do this, okay? So be careful with that underground sneaky move, because that's very Neptune. Neptune's very sneaky. Okay, so it can manifest into, you know, a family doing sneaky things, or you being blindsided by your family for whatever reason. So be conscious of your family and who is on your side and who isn't, okay? Because that can be a potential issue as well too, and can contribute to your feeling of not feeling like you have a family that you can trust or rely on, okay? Because they're sneaky and they can have ulterior motives, so be careful with that. And lastly, with Neptune in the 4th house, you know, I have to say again, emotional intuitive gifts are strong here. These people are very emotional. You feel people's feelings very easily. You're very intuitive. You're very emotional. Very strong emotions. And they could be overwhelming how strong you can feel people, and how intuitive you are, and how psychic you can be. So definitely be aware of these, because like I said, psychic gifts can be manifested and inherited by your family. So they can pass out these like extra sensory gifts where you feeling people and reading people like crazy. Like the emotional psychic gifts here is on 100. It's on a 10. So very intuitive people, and it can make you very sensitive emotionally, feeling so many people's energies. So Neptune in the 4th house people, it's very important to take care of yourself emotionally. Okay, because you feel people's energies so easily and so quickly, so energetically, so it can be overwhelming. So it's good to have your time of solitude to kind of like do the shadow work and relax and get back to your energy and your sense of stability. So that is Neptune in the 4th house. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Neptune in the 4th house, very powerful placement when you put a water planet into a water house. The emotional, psychic gifts, the intuition is on 100. But be careful with this with Neptune, because Neptune can manifest a family that's very compassionate, emotional, and caring. Or it could be one that's very oblivious, no boundaries, no sense of home, no structure within the family. Okay, abandonment within the family. Delusional with the family. Maybe your family cared, maybe they did care, but they were so delusional, letting you out to anyone and everyone and not having proper boundaries for you, not being aware. So definitely awareness needs to be conscious within the family with this placement, but definitely powerful placement. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. That is Neptune in the 4th house. And if you did, you could book a reading with me at samastroreadings@gmail.com. Okay, definitely email me there for a reading. And check out my music, my videos, all of that. All the links will be in the description box below. And I'll check you guys out on the next episode.